Oh, guess it started before I even got situated. Shalom. I just gotta see if the signal and everything is clear, fine. Salaki family. Got it. Hold on 1 second. Bear with me real quick. I gotta put this on there. Hey, it's okay with me, man. Probably fix it. Probably fix it later on. So first, I want to say, family, shalom, shalom. Lord willing, y'all have a beautiful, but require a good morning. Today we came to do a quick camp right after work. Lord willing, this is edifying. This is just stems from a thought that came to mind from me getting into chapter breakdowns in Ezekiel. But before we get started, we're going to face the east and give all praises to the one true power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of great millstone who rule well and teach well through the spirit. A mighty shalom to the hopeful elect scattered four corners of the earth, in sound doctrine and in the same spirit. Lord willing that they all can continue to endure and be sincere. Shalom to the Aqua, believers of this faith and this truth. Lord willing that y'all all continue to pursue your lot, being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. And Lord willing, Yahweh Shema Shai have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. Right, today, you can see the topic on the screen. Why do the prophets and apostles repeat the same warning to the Israelites over and over again? And it's a plain answer. It's because we're rebellious. We got too much spiritual earwax in our ear and we don't fucking listen, man. Right? From the men to the women to the women to the men. The worst in our nation, first, like in public and just in this world, will be women, because they're the weaker vessel and it's easy for our enemies to manipulate you and put all these things to make you feel like you're above men. And really, the women that are not in this faith, and then you got women that say they in the faith, they might not have order, how brothers is teaching, allowing women going to camp. Some women come in this thing and want a man of rank, right? And technically, most women are not in technical order, right? But you have a good few. So I'm not talking about the ones that the Lord is actually dealing with on his side. right? But then you even got the men that's supposed to be grounded in teaching his word, right? And supposed to be diligent, always bringing forth food so the children can eat. Regardless if it's a prophecy, a parable, or a dark saying, it don't matter if it's getting repeated, because repetition is for the elect. And repetition is good for a record, because none of the wicked can say, oh, I didn't know, I didn't hear it. It's recorded, it's on record, you know? So let's get into it. This is the first statement I want to make. We got, I think, about, let me see, 6 points I got down. The first point is dealing with Israel. The Israelites is a stiff-necked people. Yahweh had the prophets repeat messages because the Israelites was hard-headed and rebellious. They needed constant correction, right? Just like with your children, just like with your wife, like even with you, you know, brothers, we slip, right? We constantly need correction. But really, it's the wicked, right? I want to start off this side precept, right? With Ezekiel, the 21st chapter. And I'm going to try to face y'all as much as I can. From this way, it's people walking. Over here, it's people walking that way. You know, there's a Catholic building and a Catholic church behind me. But regardless, I'm respecting my boundaries, respecting theirs. So, you know, trying to make sure all angles I can see and, you know, speak to. This is Ezekiel 21, verse 4. It says, seeing then that I will cut off from thee the righteous and the wicked, therefore shall my sword go forth out of his sheath against all flesh from the south into the north. Right? The Lord cut off the wicked and the righteous. Right? So guess what the righteous got to do? They got to come back in this thing, right? Hear this truth, grow all over again, right? Because the Lord is judging the nation. But who's getting the worst? The wicked. And shalom to those that's coming on the live. Shalom, Yahweh Shai Brakatah. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. Some people need a personal relationship with Yahweh Shai. That's a fact. No, I am not Jewish, right? So let's go to Exodus chapter 32. And Lord willing, y'all can write these down. If you can't go and read them, you might be at work. You might be working out. But try your best to either rewatch it and collect all these precepts. So this is Exodus 32 and verse 9. Right? I'm going to go straight to the point. Now, I'll read verse 8. It says, they have turned aside quickly out of the way, which I commanded them. They have made them a molten calf and have worshipped it and have sacrificed thereunto and said, these be thy gods, O Israel, which have brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And Yahweh said unto Moses, I have seen this people. That's a message. I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people, right? The Lord have seen us, man, all the way from that. Yo, this is the most important part of the Israelites' history, right? The Egypt captivity. That's how we identify who the children of the Lord, because that's the first major captivity that they was in, prophesied to Abraham, right? Let me go to another one, which that indicates that special relationship the Lord has with us. This is Amos, the 3rd chapter, verse 1 and 2. Hear this word that Yahweh has spoken against you, O children of Israel. So the Lord is speaking against the children of Israel. We bring out this verse all the damn time. This is a classic, right? O children of Israel, against the whole family, against the righteous and the wicked. The Lord is speaking against the righteous and the wicked. The whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities, right? Not just because we were in Egypt, but this lets you know wherever you at, he is punishing you for your wickedness, right? It's not a religion, but if we wanted to get technical, the law, statutes, and commandments is our religion, right? But this is our custom and our culture, to be more precise, right? I am a Hebrew Israelite, right? So now let's go to Jeremiah chapter 7, which I believe I brought this out in another lesson I just did. Lord willing, that be uploaded later. This is Jeremiah chapter 7. Starting at verse 25 to 26, it says, since the day that your fathers came forth out of the land of Egypt, unto this day I have even sent unto you all my servants, the prophets, daily, rising up early and sending them, right? This is another reason why we keep repeating the same thing, because the Lord, throughout all the ages, constantly is repeating the same thing. He's raising up the prophets to warn you, right? Oh, I don't see that. Go read Ecclesiastes 1 and 9 in the KJV. Then go read in the NLT. History merely repeats itself throughout all ages, right? Throughout all ages. Verse 26, yet they hearken not unto me, nor incline their ear, but harden their neck. They did worse than their fathers. And if we was to look at the past, that past, leading into that future, to where we at right now, we're worse than our forefathers, man. We're worse than them, right? If I got it in here, I could just show example. I might not have it in here. Okay, I do got it in here. So when you look at cosmetic surgery, or like certain things that we have over here, like when men go into the locker, like men is getting naked, right? Other lockers with women getting naked, that all stems from the Greeks, right? When it comes to sports, right? When it comes to like the same sports we do on this side, back in the history, especially starting in the Greek captivity and the Roman captivity, we was doing sports. So this is on the Juju's history website. I'm in the middle paragraph. It says, for instance, the Greeks were great believers in nudity. Their sports was done in the nude. And this is why even when you look at certain women football, they be having to wear G-strings and thongs. Because what do they say? It's provocative. Negative, cussing, swearing, naked women is provocative, right? And it gets the most views. And killing and death, that gets the most views in movies and TV shows. Their bathrooms were attended in the nude, right? And when I get changed at work, you got men just getting straight raw butt naked. Where that comes from? The Greeks. It says, in the ancient world, the Jews and some Arabs were the only people who were circumcised. Thus, if you wanted to be a good Greek, you were embarrassed to go to the bathroom and participate in sports. Consequently, Hellenized Jews underwent painful operations at a time with minimum anesthesia to restore their foreskin and appear Greek. What would this guy stem like? That sounds like when people getting BBLs. You got men getting ab reduction, or however they getting surgery to make themselves look like they got abs, right? The women either getting a fake butt or they taking the fat from their body and putting it in their butt. Cosmetic surgery. You got people changing their lips, right? Puffing it up, their eyebrows, their skin, or putting some type of shit in their skin, just like the Kardashians. They soak themselves in youth blood, but they still do cosmetic surgery. That's Greek captivity, man. And you got to know, when men, we had to circumcise ourselves and cut off the foreskin. In the ancient world, the men, they would sew their foreskin back on, So most of Jake that's here now in his captivity, a lot of Jake are not circumcised, right? Because we were Americanized, and that Americanized fall with all damn near empires, the Egyptians, the Babylonians, the Assyrian military, the Greeks, the Persians, freaking the Romans, right? And look how we are in America. It's a norm. It said imported along with the Greek language, custom sports were Greek idols, modes of worship. Let me go to the next page. When I drop down to the second paragraph, you can read the whole thing, but I just want to get to the point, right? So it says, these Hellenist Jews hated their brethren and openly sided with the enemies of Israel. First Maccabees, the first chapter. You could start at verse 9. It says, who attempted to destroy the Jew nation and faith. They hated themselves for being a Jew and resorted to things like painful cosmetic surgery, not only to blend better with the Greeks, but as a sign of defiance in their attempt to remove any trace of being a Jew from their bodies. Naturally, the victory of the Maccabees over the Greeks, which will be discussed next, was a great disappointment to them, right? You had some that was disappointed in it because they rather be a Greek. They wanted to remove any trace of being considered an Israelite. That's somebody that don't even like who they is, man. Oh, no, that's not me. Jake, the true Israelites on this earth, we don't got no nukes. We don't got no military. We don't got our own education system. We don't have no bank system. Shoot, we don't even control hair products. We don't even sell fake hair, right? That's given to us. We don't have cotton, leather, silk. We got to get this from our oppressors. We don't got that. Hunger and thirst. We don't sell water. We got to go somewhere, buy water, and resell it. It's people collecting water and reselling it. So you can't say we killing them. We don't even got nukes, grenades. Brothers got little blickies. But guess what? We still got to go to our oppressors to get ammo. So you kind of wrong on that one. Black, Latinos, and natives, we don't even have a damn army. We don't got nobody representing us. That's of this truth and of this faith, right? That's not even in the scriptures. So yeah, you incorrect, bro. You incorrect. You might as well. You might have to go eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and rethink what you just said. So that was another example of the defiance, right? So now let me go back to the point. So we was reading about Yahweh had the prophets repeat messages because the Israelites were hard-headed and rebellious. They needed constant correction. So the last point is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai sent the same warning repeatedly because the Israelites refused to listen the first time, man. Right? The brother said, what do you know about the 10 lost tribes of Israel? Second Ezra, the 13th chapter, they came to the known land, Arsarith, which means another land. We can go to it right now, just for the brother. Just because you asked a question, I can actually answer instead of Mr. Shabba Ding Dong. This is Second Ezra, the 13th chapter, and going to verse 40. This is what happened. I don't know if y'all know history. You go to 2 Kings, the 17th chapter, and you hear about the 10 tribes getting removed from the land, right? But we know one of them which was a Levite, actually cleaved to Judah. But this is 2 Ezra, the 13th chapter, verse 40. It says, those that are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanasar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters. And so came they into another land. The land they went to, they were in the hands of the Assyrians, right? It says, but they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. So they was going to go somewhere where man did not dwell. It says that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. So even when the northern kingdom came to this other land, they didn't even keep the law, statutes, and commandments. That's why when you go like even to Mexico or El Paso, like in Mexico, you see some of the northern kingdom writing it. They wrote in Hebrew. They had Mayans, right? Where did that come from? From the Egyptian captivity, right? Now, verse 43, it says, and they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow place of the river, and the Most High then showed signs for them in the skies, right? Like stars and even chariots, and held still the flood till they were passed over. Like near like the peak of Africa, they said the waters get worse, but the Lord calmed that down so that they can make it around. So how they fled from the Assyrian, you have to understand the water between from where that they actually entered. I think the Dead Sea, and then came all the way around. It says, through that country there was a great way to go, namely for a year and a half, in the same region is called Ashereth. Now, some people might not accept that. They be like, oh, that's not America. But when you break down this word in the Greek, I forgot how the apostle said it. It's I think I got it in my phone. I think I got it in my notes. Where is it at? Okay, right here. It's called Ark Ratazat. You got to put both of these words together. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong because it is a little blurry. But you put these words together. Anchor or Acker would be another in Arazat. Arazat means land or earth. So when you put these words together, it's another land, right? So when they left from Assyria and came and the Lord calmed the seas, right? They came to another land that man did not dwell. So who was over in America for 1,000 years? The Northern Kingdom, man. If anybody can look up the Dawn's Act, go look up the Dawn's Act, DAWES, right? And it stemmed from the guy's name, the Edomite name that created the Dawn's Act, so Indians can change their name to Jewish names so that they can get a allotment of the land that they had. But what happened was you had $5 Indian Edomite saying, oh, I'm Richard, I'm John, because the Edomite, the natives, the Northern Kingdom had to change their name to English names. That's why when the Edomites fully got power in the United States, they took 2.3 billion acres of land from the natives. I got a book at home, How White Folks Got Rich, Babylon and Timbuktu, the Valley of Dry Bones, and they kind of go into that they stripped this land from the natives, going into constant wars against them, to weaken them. Even though the natives was giving them hand-to-hand combat, but George Washington went through 20 battles against the native, and he beat them every time, right? But when you go to Judith, the 5th chapter, verse 17 to 24, it tells you when we commit sin, we become weak, and the Lord is not with us, right? So you got to understand history. But the Northern Kingdom came to America for 1,000 years. And if it's a movie, you could go look on YouTube. Christopher Columbus finds America. It's something like that. And you'll see in the movie when Christopher Columbus says he read in Ezra that the Native Americans was over here. Actually, I'll go find that movie for you right now. Actually, I'll find it for you right now. Okay, let me see if it just popped up. I think this is the one right here. Yep, this is the one right here. The title of the movie says, Christopher Columbus used Second Ezra's book in Apocrypha to reach the Western world. 1492, A Conquest to Paradise. The movie came out in 1992. How Christopher Columbus found the New World. So let me turn this up so y'all can hear it, to give y'all some proof, and you can take your own leap of faith.
Why did you wish to say this?
I'm gonna let you hear the sound. I'm not gonna be able to let you see it and hear the sound. So I'm gonna let you hear the sound, pay attention, and you take it for what you want to take it for.
Why did you wish to say west?
Can y'all hear it?
To open a new route to Asia. Asia is the richest kingdom, the land of spices and gold. At the moment, there are only two ways of reaching it. By sea, sailing around the African continent. The journey takes a year. Or by land. But the Turks have closed this route to all Christians. There is a third way. By sailing west across the ocean sea.
The distance is unknown. It's said to be infinite.
Infinite. Superstition. I believe the Indies are no more than 750 leagues west of the Canary Islands.
And you be so certain?
The calculations of the Scandinavian morality, Ezra's.
Esdras, is that you?
So what's worse?
2 minutes. Already you're a bad man.
For telling the truth?
Yes. You are burning people for less. The man you're about to confront.
Children in the United States.
So look at that. He just said the Indies, right? The natives was over here, man. And if I don't know if you heard closely, he said Esdras in the movie. Go look it up. You can look it up on YouTube, and you can probably try to find the movie and watch it for yourself, man. Plain and simple. That's another reason why they made that movie called Pocahontas, right? It really was a mockery towards the natives and Apocalypto, right? Then they even show you, Lord willing, I'm saying it right, Apocalypto in the end of the movie, the European ships coming across the ocean, and they over here looking at them, and you had the one Native American that ran back in the woods, and the other ones, they went to go greet the so-called YT man, right? Where they get that from? Why did they promote that movie? It all stems to mockery. That's all Esau does, man. So I just showed you in the Bible and showed you a old history movie, man. Second Esdras, the 13th chapter, verse 40 to 45. They stuck. They like, man, why is that black man outside? So the next thing we about to go into, the second point. Repetition is a teaching tool. This is why we repeat the same thing over, right? One day I might do a lesson on, because later on I'm going to have to do a quick 1, 2, 3 on the digital IDs that's going to eventually turn into the charagma, right? It's just steps is just making their way downtown, right? The UK is just pushing digital identification, right? Literal digital identification. No IDs in your hand in the UK, right? But hey, this is why we repeat it, because repetition is a teaching tool. So the Most High used repetition to seal understanding in the minds of his people. The only ones that's going to get it is the elect. Let me get that precept real quick before we go to the precepts of repetition. Let's go to Romans, the 11th chapter, in verse 7. What then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. Right? The whole nation of Israel not going to get this. Only the election. The election is those that are selected, right? Is almost going into ekletos in the Greek, which means elect. Elect means the best of its kind or the best of its class, right? So let's go to Isaiah 28. So only the election, only the elect is going to get it. Only the remnant is going to get it. So let's go to Isaiah 28. Which a lot of people butcher this one too. Even though this chapter was going into Ephraim, they left this way, right? Because we ain't following the ways of the Lord. What it says in verse 9, it says, whom shall he teach knowledge, which is a question, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast, right? In the milk, that's going back into the basics, like the name, being the Hebrew Israelites, and the law, statutes, and commandments. Who is the law for? Psalms 147, verse 19 and 20, right? What is the Heavenly Father name and the Son name? First, we see the Heavenly Father name was given to Moses, which was Yahweh. Then you have Yahweh Shai, who come into play, which the prophets and Moses spoke about Yahweh Shai, which Yahweh mean he exists, he to be. Right, you even see that in Hebrews 11 and 6, he is Yahweh Shai, he saves, he delivers, which is in Matthew 1 and 21. And then the law, statutes, commandments is in the first 5 books of the Bible. And you can read 2nd Esdras, the 14th chapter, and you can see, I believe, starting at verse 22, maybe, I could be wrong, where the Lord had Ezra rewrite the first 5 books because it was burnt by the heathens. Okay? Verse 10, for precept upon precept upon precept, which is law upon law, right? Really, a law is what you can do and what you can't do. A command or a commandment, right? So even when it comes to this faith, throughout the whole Bible, You have things on which you can and which you can't do. As- Uh, um, Abstain from all appearances of evil, right? Come with wisdom with those that are without, right? It says it says line upon line upon line. Here a little and there a little, right? So when it say here a little, there a little, you go into the Old Testament to the New Testament, to the New Testament to the Apocrypha, to the Apocrypha to the Old Testament, right? You like what I'm doing now, line upon line, 9th verse, 10th verse, where I might go to verse 9 to 12, line upon line. Or I might jump like you see me. In some of these points, we go into the old, to the new, to the new, to the old, just so you can see throughout the scriptures, the Lord was constantly doing repetition. So now, since we got that, let's get Philippians. Now we're going there. You see that? Here a little, there a little. And precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. That's all for a code, right? And only the elect is going to get it, because you're not going to get the full understanding just reading the whole chapter, right? Just like the lesson I just did in Ezekiel 9 and 4, 4 to 7, 4 to 6, you're not going to get the full understanding of what's going on if you don't go here a little and there a little, where Ezekiel is actually speaking about the time of the siege of Jerusalem, right? What happened in 586 BC approximately, right? And then Jeremiah was prophesying about it, right? So you have to hop here and there because the scriptures is coded. If it was just straight, it would be easy and everybody could get it. But no, the Lord did it coded because it's only for the elect, right? Because even when you look at the word darash in the Hebrew, like the word seek, which is one of the words, seek means to investigate. So if it's precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little, you're investigating. This whole lesson is why did Yahweh Shema Shai have the apostles and the prophets repeat the same thing to the Israelites over and over again. So this lesson has to stay on point. Here a little, there a little, precept upon precept, line upon line. And that's what we're doing. So going to the New Testament, Philippians chapter 3 and verse 1. Finally, my brethren, rejoice in Yahweh Shema Shai to write the same things to you. To me, indeed, is not grievous, but for you it is safe. Let's read the NLT. Whatever happens, my dear brothers and sisters, rejoice in Yahweh Shema Shai. I never get tired of telling you these things. I do it to safeguard your faith, right? He's never getting tired of saying the same things. When you go to Acts, the 6th and 7th chapter, even the 4th chapter, the apostles is repeating what happened in history, man. Because repetition, right now, the Israelites are in a dead state. It could be a Jake, oh, I read the whole Bible. But they never, after they got done, do you believe you a Hebrew Israelite? Nah, I don't. Then that means you didn't really decipher the understanding, right? Why this happened, why that happened, why this there, why that's there, right? You have to be able to be willing to understand the doctrine of the Lord from the prophecies, the parables, the dark sayings, and the law. This whole thing is a doctrine, right? And you're going to keep hearing this over and over again. So the apostles and the prophets repeated themselves because it's through repetition that the Israelites learn and remember. What did Mufasa tell Simba? Remember who you are. How the heck we going to remember who the hell we are if we're not hearing it in repetition or somebody's not going over it? Let's go to the book of Baruch, the 2nd chapter. Why would the Lord have Baruch write this? Those that's in this thing, y'all know where I'm going. I believe y'all do. This is Baruch chapter 2, going to verse 30. It says, for I knew that they would not hear me because it's a stiff-necked people. Now, the elect on this side going to get it. Automatically, it might take some time, but they're going to get it. But the bulk of Israel, they would never get it because they're stiff-necked. It says, but in the land of their captivity, they shall remember themselves. How are they going to remember? They're going to remember because somebody's going to be shaking the hand, right? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 58, verse 1, the classic of classics. Isaiah 58 and 1. And you can read this in 2nd Ezra chapter 1, verse 5. Isaiah 5 and 8, it says, cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, right? We're like Amos and 3. We're blowing the trumpet. We are the trumpet. And show my people their transgressions, the house of Jacob their sins, right? This verse directly, if it's for all nations, who sinned? Who transgressed against the law? The Israelites. So we have to show you how, when, what time frame. Israelites been in 14 captivities, 7 the least, 7 the major, right? And the end one right now is America and being scattered 4 corners of the earth, which is really one captivity, because the rulers of the earth right now, which is the Edomites, right, the base of men, Daniel 4 and 17, they're ruling the whole earth. Back then, when the Greeks and the Rome, they didn't rule the whole earth. They were ruling the known lands, right? The Greek, they didn't go way all the way in Africa, way all the way in Europe. And even the Romans, they didn't go that far and expand. They ruled the known land. But in this time, the Edomites ruled the whole earth, man, right? To fulfill what was prophesied to them in, I believe, Genesis, the 27th chapter, right? Let me get another one, Isaiah, and then we'll get back into the motion. Isaiah 13, verse 2, right? It says, lift up a banner upon the high mountain. What is a banner? It's a sign, sign, a warning, right? The banner is the word, the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? Which is this, what we doing? What brothers is teaching, being consistent. It said upon the high mountain. What's the high mountain? It's America. When you go to Revelation 17 and 9, mountain is a kingdom, right? Exalt thy voice unto them. What? Like a trumpet. People are walking past, people are across the street. People can hear me, right? It says, shake thy hand. You shake it and rebuking it, man. Prophesying against it, right? I believe that is Ezekiel 35, right? We shaking the hand to Mount Seir. It says that they may go into the gates of the noble, right? Hold on, let me correct that. Let me make sure. I don't want y'all to write that down. Yes, Ezekiel 35, starting at verse 2, right? We got to prophesy. It says, son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it, right? In the ancient time, yes, you even had Obadiah, you had certain men prophesying against it, right? But Mount Seir, especially we look at now, is the ancient world where Esau ruled, right? This was his dwelling place. Esau is not dwelling or ruling in Mount Seir or Basra. They're ruling in the desolate places that you see in Malachi 1 and 4, right? In Europe, that's where they fled after Rome fell. And then they went to Sweden, they went to Canada, they went to America. They're ruling the desolate lands. Go read Malachi 1 and 4. You know, Basra was their capital. The capital for their folly, wickedness, sin upon the whole earth is America. Everybody's drawn to America, man. Everybody. This is the #1 tourist spot, right, in the world. Even though you got other places, but this is the spot where people want to become a star. Oh, this is the land of the free and dreams. You can do this and do that. A lot of people are coming here just because what they're hearing about America, because it's a high mountain, right? High is because it sits on high when it comes to power. But we know the elites is not living here, right? They're living in like London, Europe. Literally, they can live anywhere. But again, we saying the same thing over and over again. So again, saying this point that I just said, the apostles and prophets repeated themselves because it's through repetition that the Israelites learn and remember. Now the next point, the people quickly forget. Israelites has a short memory. Like brothers say, you know, Jake, they got a short attention span. It says when it comes to righteousness, but never forgets wickedness. The prophets and apostles reminded them constantly so they wouldn't drift away. Now, through the Spirit, we understand that none of us, I mean, I know me, none of us go back to it. The folly that we do, especially when Jake become a celebrity, he becomes worser than what he was in his estate. You got Jake saying he a drug dealer, and then he become a celebrity. Now he taking perks. and then leaning on the damn TV screen, drooling, whites on the corner of his mouth. They become a worse state of themselves, right? You might have a girl that was wearing clothes before, but now she getting the limelight. Hey, look, if you dress like this, it get more views. Your fans will like you even more. So now women gotta dress naked now. You know, the industry, it changed you. Even in sports, it changed you. But literally, if you look outside, when you look outside in, you'll look at it as this is all Rome all over again. And Jake, because they getting millions of dollars, they think they free. No, you're just a rich slave. And this is how they keep you in your pocket so that you could continue to be an entertainer for them. Look, how is all these sports players making 40 to $100 million in 4 years? How much you think the people that own the building get? You got the coach, you got the owner of the team, and what about the people that's getting interest from off of that? Everything is getting interest. Come on, man. The freak Zionists, the Juju beings, they own the media. Come on, man. Let me show you something. Let's get in there real quick. We ain't gonna be in here too long, but we gonna try to get enough that we can. Is this gonna show me? Okay, there we go. This right here says, who controls your mind? These are all things that deals with media. YouTube, CBS, Universal Studios, BET, Disney, anything. Look, you could screenshot all these names. Go look them all up. The red represents the Juju beings. The green represents, I think, non-white. Or wait. Yeah, the green represents the LGBT community, man, woman, whoever. And the blue represents non-white. So they could be East Indian, they can be African, they can be a Jake, because you got one of them. Who is it? Hold on, let me see. Okay, one of them is Nick Cannon. He's a chairman of Nickelodeon. You know? But you got a lot of Juju beings. Look at all that red, man. The media, even outside of that, they run that, man. Come on, man. And it's easy for Jake to remember wickedness. It's promoted in the TV and in the movies. And let alone when you walk outside, you're seeing it every day. And then you get a job and then it's not working. You try to rap, it's taking too long. So then you go back to hustling, right? It's right in your face. Yeah, stockholders, that's when you look at, what is it called? Venmark, BlackRock, they all owned by the Juju beings. I call them Juju beings because they are tripping trying to take your damn YouTube. So again, the Israelites has a short memory or a short attention span when it comes to righteousness, but never forgets wickedness. The prophets and apostles reminded them constantly so they wouldn't drift away. But Jake, they do. This is why you think the parents is on their children. You know, now in the world they not. But when you come in this truth, why you think you always on your children? I'm watching my children from the oldest to the youngest on everything. Why? Because this world will swallow you up like TD Jakes and spit you out. But on this side, we have to serve Yahweh Shema Shai. We lost all of that. Our children don't believe in the Lord how they used to in the ancient world. You had a little boy giving Yahweh Shai the fish and the bread. What is you doing? You should be playing. No, he was excited to see the Messiah because his parents was telling him, man. All these distractions took away that spiritual stimulation towards the younger generation. So this is Judges. Like Pastor Gabar always say, if you understand it, can you put a 1 in the comment section if if it's making sense. And if you put a 2 in the chat, you might as well just go slide to the left like Beyonce. Right? So this is Judges chapter 8, verse 34. Okay, come. This is Judges chapter 8. And shalom to the Akwath and the Akim. That's in this thing. Yahweh Shema Shai Brakatham. Right? This is Judges chapter 8, verse 34. Salaki. So here we go. Judges chapter 8, verse 34. I start at 33. It says, and it came to pass as soon as Gideon was dead, that the children of Israel turned again and went a whoring after Balaam, and made Balaam Berith their power. So when you go to Hosea 1, you get to understand why the Lord told Hosea, get you a whore wife and have 2 whores children. They were going to be symbolic to the southern and northern kingdom. The northern kingdom was the first to be the slut bucket. Then the southern kingdom followed its treacherous sister and did even worse. Right? Usually the one that's the most, the ones that's on the top, like Judah. Judah's supposed to be the head tribe, even though it's the 4th tribe. But guess what? He went off way worse. That's why when you look at the southern kingdom, when you look at Judah, we are in all trades of everything. Right? When it comes to sports, dancing, entertainment, we in all trades. And look at what we do. Right? If Diddy is a Judah, look at the shit he doing. But that doesn't make the northern kingdom even better. Right? Verse 34, it says, and the children of Israel remembered not Yahweh their power, who had delivered them out of the hands of their enemies on every side. They forgot. Now, let me go to this. I'm about to show you something. Judges chapter 2 in verse 10. This is like one of my little classics. Judges chapter 2 in verse 10. It says, and also all that generation were gathered unto their fathers, and there arose another generation after them, which knew not Yahweh, nor yet the works which he had done for Israel. Right? Because every generation that came, you know, your forefathers wasn't even teaching you the way. But you had some. That's why when we go into the New Testament, like the Greek captivity, you had some that, like a father, he probably was teaching his son the Greek custom, like Timothy. Timothy is an Israelite. His father is an Israelite. But his father attached himself to the Greek custom, and he raised Timothy in the Greek custom. But his mother stayed following the Lord. And guess what? The Lord drifted him to Paul, and now Timothy was circumcised in the heart, man. But look at our generation now. What's up, man? Our generation now is not raised up in the true name of the Father. So that's why when brothers and sisters hear us say Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, they're like, no, Jesus, Jesus. They can never learn the distance. It's not Yahuwah. How can it be Yahuwah if 2nd Ezra, I'm going to keep saying this, if 2nd Ezra, the 3rd chapter, verse 34 said, the Heavenly Father's name is nowhere but in Israel. Yeshua, Yahweh, Yu-Gi-Oh! Jah, Jesus, Lord God, every nation says those names. But if you say Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, you only see black, Latino, Hispanics, and Native Americans saying Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. Let alone when you look at Exodus, the 23rd chapter, verse 20 to 21, when it was speaking about that angel, he'll keep you in the way, and my name is in him. What angel in the Bible got the Heavenly Father name in it? Gabriel, Raphael, who? Michael? No. We saying his name that you see that's written in the scriptures. Michael's name don't even mean he saves or delivers. But if you say Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, man, let me show you a picture on that just for y'all, just so we could be like, man, that's amazing. Even if I know a lot of y'all already know, but we gonna do it for edification's sake, man. So nobody can't say they didn't know, right? Look at that. So when you see the name Yahweh, look at the name Yahweh Shai. It got his name in there. It just don't got the H. It got the S-H-I. Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. Come on, Exodus 23, verse 20 to 21. Go read it now, man. Go read it now. Don't take my word for it. And after you read it, go find the angel in the Bible that got the name of the Father in it. My name is in him. What angel? What? St. John, the 5th chapter. Even Yahweh Shai said his father name is actually, let me get it. I'm over here excited and stuttering. Right? Let's get it. Let's get it. Get excited, man. John, the 5th chapter. Wait, hold on. Salaki. Oh, Salaki. There we go. Let me just get this real quick. St. John chapter 5. Let me just get this real quick. Let's make Yahweh true and every man a liar. Is it 43? Okay, this is St. John 5 and 43. I come in my Father's name, and ye receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him ye will receive, man. A lot of y'all receiving these false prophets, man, and they coming in their own name. But when Yahushai come in his Father's name, he didn't say his Father come in his, he said, I am come in my Father's name. Let's read it in NLT. For I have come to you in my Father's name. How did he do that? Because his name is Yahweh Shai. And the Heavenly Father is Yahweh. This is how we would know that this was him. Joshua, his real name is Yahweh Shai. Joshua never said, I come in my Father's name. Nope. Sirach's grandson name is Yahweh Shai. It says Jesus, but it's really Yahweh Shai. It's only 3 people in the Bible that got the name Yahweh Shai. And neither one of them, only 2 of them never said, I come in my Father's name. Only the Son of Man, only the begotten Son. Come on, man. Come on, man. And this is what we repeating over and over again. Why y'all keep doing the lesson on the name? Because we got to. Right? So now, let's go to this. 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 12 to 13. It says, wherefore, I will not be negligent to put you always in remembrance of these things, though ye know them, and be established in the present truth, yet I think it meet, as long as I am in this tabernacle, to stir you up by putting you in remembrance. Remembrance into what? Let's read the NLT. Therefore, I will always remind you about these things, even though you already know them and are standing and firm in the truth you have been taught. So he's reminding them of something that they was already taught. And it is only right that I should keep on reminding you as long as you live. He just closed the casket. He said, I might have to just keep reminding you as long as you live. Guess what, Jake? As long as this dang YouTube still flowing, TikTok moving, right? And I'm able to go on the highways and byways before he make the feminine word, you gonna keep hearing the same thing. Yo, say the name. Walk in the name, right? Always purge the old man. Mortify the things of the flesh. I'm going to constantly keep saying that. Right? He never calls us Christian. Technically, Christian was more, what you call it? I forgot the word. Aggrogatory. I'm probably saying it. I'm pronouncing it wrong. Word. But Christian just mean, in Acts 13:1, a believer of Yahushua or a black Christian, right? But by nationality or nation, you're called Hebrew Israelites. That's a fact, right? He calls us sons, or he called the men of the Lord servants, right? So Israel must continually be stirred up. Yep. Derogatory, right? Tawada. Thank you. Slip of the tongue. It says Israel must continually be stirred up because forgetting Yahweh's covenant brings destruction. That's another problem with Christianity and some of you other jakes like GOCC that want to bring in the other nations. When you try to bring the other nations to our covenant, they're not in our covenant, because one of the covenants that I'm going to just say that stick out is immortality. No other nation getting that. Yahushua said, what's part of that other covenant, right? Where Yahushua said in John, the 14th chapter, I go and prepare, in my Father's house is many mansions, and I go to prepare a place for you. The kingdom is going to be established and built it on the earth through the heathen. So where is he going to prepare a place for us? That's not the kingdom coming down. We are the holy city coming down. Or in a chariot. The chariot is going to be so big, it's going to look like a city. Right? But he said, "Hey, go and prepare a place." While we've been down here for 2,000 years, and his time 2 days, he been up in the Father's mansion creating other places where we can dwell. In my Father's house. What is a house? A dwelling place. My faith, my belief in these scriptures go way beyond a lot of people. He's creating other dwelling places. Earth is not the only place. Why is Esau always seeking down in the earth? Why is he always trying to reach up? Because in his mind, he knows some way. Is some way to get out of there. Guess what? Scripture-wise, only the elect. What it said, from the sea of glass, we're going to see the destruction. How are we going to get to the sea of glass? With our glorified bodies in the chariot above the firmament, watching the destruction. So that means we're going to be above the firmament, right where space is at. And guess what? When everything get established, it said in Genesis, the 28th chapter, verse 10 to 12, the angels descend and descend to earth and go into heaven. Guess what? The elect men and children and wives are going to be able to come and go out this place, because Yahweh Shai went to prepare a place for us. Scriptures already said the kingdom is on the earth. So where is he going? Come on, man. That's why a lot of y'all, a lot of Jake don't deserve to see that special glory, because a lot of people ain't thinking about the kingdom. Yes, I'm going to get on Esau. I'm going to get on the 2/3, and we're going to repeat it over and over again. But guess what? We're going to keep talking about the kingdom, glorified bodies, superpowers, your children playing with snakes in Isaiah 11 chapter, right? You ain't going to be able to, Genesis teaching about ain't no immortality. You're not going to die. Philippians 3:21, who's going to change our veiled body into his body? Come on, man. You can't make this up. Acts the 8th chapter, he said we're going to be joint heirs with him. Joint heirs lines up with Psalms 10 and 1, or Psalms 10 and 2, where he said, the Heavenly Father says, "Sit on my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool." When the enemies is Yahweh Shai footstool, they're going to be our footstool. We're going to be ruling his kingdom. Starting with the government, David, the 12, and the rest of the 144,000, and the rest of Israel, man. Come on, man. The brother said, Clyde said, "I agree with you. The Bible is an Israelite Bible." Why? The Most High only acknowledged the seed of the 12 tribes. Israel is my firstborn and the apple of my eye. Hey, guess what? What's another precept that go with that? What the Lord told the Israelites, he didn't tell no other nation. The law has to be the apple of our eye. Where's the verse about the other nations? The law being the apple of their eye. It's not going to be the apple of their eye until they get in the kingdom. Let alone, they still going to be in their human flesh going on. Especially Esau. I had to get something to drink for that. He said the apple of my eye. It's some apple orange juice in here. No, take that back. I think that's some Sunny D. Okay. Now the next point. Fourth point. This is the fourth point. Prophecy must be repeated until it's fulfilled. Many prophecies were not for the prophet's own times alone. That's why I quoted Ezekiel, the 9th chapter, verse 4 to 7. And you got other ones too, where those prophecies wasn't just only for their time. It was really for future time event. That's why when everybody say, like I just heard last night, they said Yahweh Shai fulfill everything that pertained to him. No, he didn't. Isaiah 63, no, he didn't. Isaiah 66, no, he didn't. Isaiah 47, I'm not going to meet you like a man. No, he didn't. It's many. He didn't drink wine with the apostles yet. Literally. It says time alone, but the future generation, even our time now, that's why they had to repeat and record them. Let's go to Habakkuk 2. So when you go to Habakkuk 2, verse 2 to 3, I like it in the NLT, but we're reading the KJV. It says, "And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth." In the NLT, that he can run with the correct message, right? This is why I like reading the NLT, because You have to understand that you have to be teaching this word in 100% truth. Oh, nobody got 100% truth. You're bugged out. Why would the Lord give you a Bible and we sit here and say it's not 100% truth? When brothers say 100% truth, they mean 100% of the doctrine the Lord have given us. From Genesis to 2nd Maccabees, Genesis to Revelation. Dealing with history, dealing with the law, dealing with the parables, dealing with the dark sayings, and dealing with prophecies. That's 100% truth, but you have to be able to teach it. Right? 1 John 2:21, can't no lie be of the truth. So if there's no lie of the truth, what is that? 100% truth. Plain and simple. If you don't know everything throughout the scriptures, it's okay. Say you don't know it. But you can say that you follow the men that teach the 100% truth. Because if we was to look at a time frame, the truth only been out here for 56 years. Only for 56 years. Right? So, verse 3, it says, for the vision is yet for appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will surely come. It will not tarry. Right? Everything has its point in time, because the Lord marked everything. Just like when you look at 2nd Ezra, the 14th chapter, verse 11 to 12, when it talks about the 12 periods. The 12 periods is talking about a time frame. Right? From when the Lord created the heavens and the earth, that's a time frame for the Lord. From all the way to Yahweh Shai, that's his time frame. For us, a thousand years is 1,000 years, but to the Lord, 1,000 years is one. That's why when we look at Yahweh Shai was here 2,000 years ago, he was really here for 2 days. He was here 2 days ago. Right? So you got to know the time frame. Well, like I said, we were in the 12th part, but like Asher said, we're past the 12th part. Right? Because if you was to really calculate from Yahweh Shai to now, it's actually over that 12 period mark. Over. You know? Yahweh Shai got everything right in order. Right? And you got to know some things that was said in old, right? Certain things got fulfilled, but certain things that they were speaking of did not get fulfilled until the end time. When he's speaking about the new covenant, Jeremiah, that did not happen until Yahweh Shai when Yahweh Shai really returns. Yes, his blood, which count of the new covenant, but guess what? We're not fully in it because we're still dealing with the curses. So we're going to fully be in the new covenant when Yahweh Shai returns. Esau is still ruling. Brother's still getting sick. Teeth hurting. Got to take your teeth out. You understand? You know? Women still bumping up against men. Go right now, go in your house and say, hey, look, yo, love, man. Yo, I see another sister that actually might eventually hear this truth. I think I want to build with her. She gonna start bumping up against you. How you in a new covenant and your wife bumping up against you because you attracted to a woman? Oh, no, you brothers is wicked. How? Man, we got more sperm cell. We got more sperm cell in us than you got melon. Ooh, I could be wrong, but hey, Esau buying 300. No, he buying what? He buying a gram of melon, for $398. So how much gram? Actually, we can look that up right now. Let me correct myself. Let me see if somebody find that answer before me, man. How can we be in the new covenant, man? How many grams of melanin is in a human? Yeah, they not giving the answer. Yeah, they not giving no answer. I ain't gonna hold you. It's hard to even get that answer. I see. I asked them a hard question. So I'm gonna read this answer that somebody said. So actually, stand corrected. There's less sperm in a man than what this saying, if this is correct. This is on ourdarkershadesofhistory.com. It says the average black person has almost 40 million worth of melanin in their body. So I stand corrected. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I stand corrected. But a man has more sperm in his McNuggets than you have eggs. You know? And one sperm is fighting just to get in that one egg to bring forth a child. So literally, a woman is you're not compared, because after you get stuffed, somebody else can get planted a seed. So that's what I'm saying. We're not in no new covenant. You know, we're not in a new covenant, right? So we know that's not fulfilled. Let's go to another one. This is Romans chapter 15, verse 4. Yo, all these things always come out. This is repetition. Romans 15 and 4. This is the classic. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures, which is the whole volume of the book, might have hope. Let's read in NLT. Such things were written in the scriptures long ago to teach us, and the scriptures give us hope and encouragement as we wait patiently for the Most High's promises to be fulfilled. What's one of his promises? The everlasting covenant, man, which you read in 1 Chronicles 16, 11 down, right? And that I think verse 17 and 18, the land of Canaan is supposed to be given to Abraham and his descendants from Isaac, Jacob, and the 12 tribes of Israel. The 12 tribes was living there, but that was only for those 80 years between David and Solomon, and then those other kings. But we talking about as a whole and not divided. Ezekiel 37, which the Lord is doing right now, man. You know? So at the end of the day, everything in the Bible is for our learning. So this is why we got to constantly keep bringing it out. And another thing, we're in the human flesh. Let Jake get distracted with something. They'll forget. Hey, why don't you stop watching videos? Stop watching camps. Stop watching videos. Watch. You're going to start to forget the precepts that you already had. Yo, sometimes I'm reading new stuff in the scriptures, and I be forgetting the classic, the things in the law. Guess what? I got to go back and read it again. Our minds is not the same how they used to be in the ancient world. You know? We're not the same. And even in the ancient world, it's so amazing. The Lord had these scriptures written in the book so that we can find him and seek him. So we wouldn't look like all the other, oh, let me go get a psychic reader. Oh, let me read your palm. Oh, let me just move naturally and just walk with God. I don't have to read a book. Let me be Yah Jew. The Lord didn't make it like that. The Lord made it make sense, especially on this side. Everything you do on this side, what do you do? If anybody could give me an answer, what's the number one thing on this earth that damn near everybody do? From the age of, even though it's probably earlier, let me just use any age. From the age 7 all the way to an elder, what's the number one thing a human does? Some might do it every day, especially if you're in school, 5 days out the week. Some people might do it in college. Some people do it when they're not in college. Some people do it when they're grown. Some people do it when they, when they mid-age or when they old. What's the number one thing humans do on the earth? If somebody can answer that, what's the number one thing mostly every human on this earth do? The number one thing. Everybody should get this right. What's the number one thing every human do on this side? From a little child up. First, you got to teach a baby, but eventually when them children go to school, what's the number one thing? The number one thing, man. Come on, I know somebody about to say it. What is the number one thing? Y'all playing, man. I guess since nobody can't answer it, I answer it. Wait, sin? I mean, yeah, man, everybody sin. Wait, learn? Oh, we getting somewhere. We getting somewhere. That is a fact, but how, okay, outside of learning, what do you do? So say if somebody teaching you and they tell you, hey, Do it at home. What do you got to do in order to get in that textbook? In order to do your homework? Okay, study. You get in there. Come on, stop playing. In order to study, what do you have to do on that? What do you have to do? Practice, observe. Okay, we get in there. We almost there. Read. There we freaking go, man. That's what we got to do, man. That's the #1 thing on the earth that everybody do is read. Seen somebody on TikTok arguing, oh, we don't need a book. Why would the Lord put it in a book? Because the Lord wanted you to read, man. That's the #1 intimate thing you can have with Yahweh Shem El Shai, right? He said, seek the Lord while he may be found. How you gonna seek him if you ain't reading? Think about it. How you gonna seek the Lord? Oh, let me pray. If you don't know how to pray, if you ain't going in the scriptures to know how to pray, what you should say and read it, how the hell you gonna pray? And to pray, you gotta say words. Come on, man. So reading is the #1 thing on this earth. The Lord was thinking way out the box. But look at Jake. Look at the southern and northern kingdom. The #1 thing on this side, a lot of us, Jake, don't want to do is read. That's why the industry promote money. You can't never talk about anything deep. You can't go into politics because now you about to be talking. Now you about to be bringing some substance of learning. Everything has to be like the Kai Cenat. They're just promoting, just doing dumb stuff. Ain't nothing about reading. Education. How do you get an education? Somebody has to read something to you, and then you got to take the information in. To remember it, you got to read it. To fill out an application, you got to read it. Right? You want to go get a loan, you got to read something. You want to sign a contract, you got to read between, you got to read the words before that thin line. Somebody put 2 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, verse 3. For I deliver unto you first of all that which I also received, and how that Hamashiach died for our sins according to the scriptures. Yeah, that's right. And that he was buried, and that he rose again the 3rd day according to the scriptures. Hey, if it's saying according to the scriptures, what the heck that mean? Read. Because how you going to know that that's real if you ain't reading it? When you go to Acts, the 17th chapter, verse 10 and 11, the Berea people, when Paul and Silas came, they had a readiness mind to hear it. And then they searched the scriptures daily to see what he was saying was so. You got to read, man. Read is a power, just like listening is a power. The brother Yahweh, he said, if you want to hide something, put it in the book. That's the best word right there, man. This why the Lord knew what he was doing. 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter. Somebody can put it up. Verse 1 and 2. Verse 1 and 2, man. Kai Cenat as Tota in English class, my guy. That's a fact. He do. It is learning, but guess what? It still drags you away. Because now I know people that don't even know how to work a 9 to 5 or a 5 to 9. They rather get it easy just sitting on the camera. That's the new way to keep you comfortable and keep you distracted. Right? He get over 20 million airtime view on that damn Twitch. That's all to keep children comfortable. And when they grow to a certain age, I want to be like Kai Cenat and just never worked at all. You don't know about suffering. Now you want to get it easy. Oh, I'm suffering because I want to be a streamer and I only got 2 subscribers. No, it's bigger than that. A lot of Jake need to wake up and understand this is captivity. Esau is never making anything for you to strive to get closer to the Lord. It's always to fill your belly and make your mind like mashed potatoes. The brother says, say the precept you need again. 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter, verse 1 and 2. Just to go off of the notion how special this word is, because it's faithful and true. Why not read it? He said it's faithful and true through Esdras, man. 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter, verse 1 and 2. Right? So while the brother about to get that, the same warnings echo through ages until they are fulfilled. In the time of Yahushua, the same thing over and over again. In the time of Revelations with John the Revelator in the prison of Patmos, this man was requoting something about Daniel. Wait, hold on. Esdras, The Lord expounded to him about the fourth beast a little deeper than he did Daniel. But Daniel spoke about the fourth beast. Daniel even went in with the third beast. Guess who actually have the third beast in the scriptures? The Maccabees. Ezra, he was in the time of the Persian Medes, the second beast. Isaiah was speaking of the coming of the Babylonians. Jeremiah was speaking of them, and he was in Jerusalem at that time, and he seen the captives leave. Ezekiel was in Babylon, and getting visions of the siege of Jerusalem, man. Everything is getting re-spoken over and over and over again. And now when we look at it in 2025, all this was really for our learning, because we in the end game, right? We in the end game right now. Now Jake is hearing the Bible speaking about you. Christianity got the biggest following on the earth. They wasn't feeding us that we the people. They collecting everybody in. They changing the tithes and the offering. And that's really for the Levites. Got women coming as you are, right? Promoting women to be single. Wait on the Lord to bring your girl, right? But really, when you look at your forefathers, your forefathers, like Abraham said, he said, don't get a woman of the Canaanites, and he would choose what woman to get. In the ancient world, your father was arranging marriage for your daughters and your sons, man. Waiting on the Lord, right? We humans, the Lord don't think like how we think. Clyde said, I read the book of Numbers. I read the book of Numbers. I came across Shador. Deion Sanders' son is named Shador. Shador is Hebrew, means the field of lights. Shador is the seed of Reuben. Esau, he was selected 144. Wait, Reuben? Reuben is not Esau. Wait, what the hell? Reuben is the seed of... Shador is the seed of Reuben. Esau, he was selected 144. Wait, you must be talking to Esau, because Reuben is not Esau. Lord willing, hey, Yahweh Ratazah, you made a mistake. Maybe you meant to say something else. Reuben is not Esau, but I understand he was selected 144. But that's cool and all. That was spiritual for us. But guess what? He ain't speaking of the Lord. He not saying the Lord name, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And he's in the light. You know what I'm saying? He's he's in the public. He ain't saying the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. He ain't keeping it simple. Right? Give me neither riches or poverty or so neither I get rich and I forget you, or if I'm poor I steal. The brother put 2nd Ezra the 15th chapter verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy which I will put in thy mouth. And you're gonna be saying it over and over again. Saith Yahweh Shema Shai, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Why would he say that? Because even in past tense, we wasn't writing on paper. Stone, pyrex, animal skin, clay. Then eventually, like in the time of the Roman Empire, we started writing on parchment paper. Then eventually, the Winsberg Winting Press, right? We the first book was the Wycliffe in 1455. Beautiful. Declan just put St. John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believe in him shall perish but have everlasting life. That world is going into cosmos, and it's going into government. Isaiah 11, the 11th chapter, speaks about the government sitting on his shoulders. The government is the elect, starting with the 144,000. It literally, when it says world, you go to Hebrews chapter 1 verse 2, it says he created many. You know what? Let me just go to it. These things was writing for our learning. Let's just go to it. Because I hope you're not bringing that God love everybody. That world is specific going towards, he's speaking to Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews, which is really a world of the Israelites, but the southern kingdom at that time. This is Hebrews chapter 1, and I'll start at verse I said at verse 1, it says, the Most High, who at sundry times in diverse manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets, have in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he have appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds. That's plural, so it's an S in it. So he made the worlds. What worlds? The world of Esau, the world of Elam, the world of the Hamites, the world of the Israelites. All nations on the earth are not the same. It's 18 nations on the earth. They're all not the same. So he's only of the world of Israel. Plain and simple. So it's really, for God so loved the world, he loved the world of Esau. I mean, Salaki, take that back. Scratch that. He loved the world of Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel, that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believe in his son shall not perish but have everlasting life. On this side, that's going to be the elect. Reuben is the firstborn of the 12 tribes. That's right. Esau, I ran out of space. I was referring to how Esau colluded against Shador because he did not run to Esau. So he is labeled a troublemaker by Esau. I mean, even more, not to get off the topic for the sheep, it was really because, I don't know if y'all know, you got to understand sports. A lot of the ups don't like Deion Sanders. And through the spirit, this is how it is when it comes to, the Israelite man. Everything is against him, from the women to the men. And Esau used that really so that the children of the Lord do not flourish, right? But it was really towards his father. And, thinking Shador might come with that same thing. But at the end of the day, Shador and his whole household, they're not saying the name of the Lord. I'm just speaking facts. They're hand in hand with the other nations, even though you got to when you working and when you in this society. But what I'm saying, they're buddy. You don't see no type of form of spiritual hatred for the condition that they're in because they're rich. So, but through the spirit for us, 144, I could see that. That was for us, But now, since we got that, the water brother, yeah, they call on Jesus. That's a fact. And Jesus mean earth dirt. Why would I do that when we know in scriptures his name means he saves, he delivers? Jesus mean earth dirt. So now we go into the 5th point. It says the elect will hear through repetition. The Most High ordained that his elect would be gathered through the constant preaching of the same truth, while the rest would remain blind. How are they going to be collected? Let me get this one for you. Revelations, the 11th chapter. Okay, let's read verse 8 and let's go down. Let's start at verse 7. It says, and when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that descended, that beast is going back into Rome, ascended out of the bottomless pit. Pit means land. 2nd Esdras, the 5th chapter, verse 24. Go read it. 2nd Esdras, the 5th chapter, verse 24. Pit is land. Bottomless is because bottomless is speaking about Europe. When Rome fell, all the Edomites fled to Europe in the mountains, Caucasus Mountain, in all different directions. Bottomless is because it's unbearing or unfruitful, right? They didn't have the minerals or the resources to build, to make fruit, or to have a fruitful land. So it was a bottomless land, a bottomless pit. And it says, and shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. Right? Yes. When we understand when the damn Europeans, they came over here and made war with the Northern Kingdom. Right? That's you got the movie Pocahontas and Apocalypto, but they didn't give you a part 2. Then you got when the Southern Kingdom was sold by the Hamites, and then the Europeans was buying them and making trade with the Hamites, and then they came and got us and brought us over here, and they made war with us. That's what this is going into. Verse 8, it says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of that great city. The great city, Revelations, the 18th chapter, is Babylon the Great, America. Being dead is not a literal thing. When you go look at this word dead, it's going to say spiritually dead, right? It says, which spiritually is called Sodom, spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. Sodom, because this place is going to push That same spirit in Sodom and Gomorrah, but even worse, in a spiritual sense. Right now, you got men that's dressing like women and women dressing like men, and now men can get plastic surgery, cosmetic, just like the Greeks. In Egypt, which you go to Exodus 20:2, Egypt means house of bondage, where also our Lord was crucified. Not saying in a like a physical sense like in Rome, but he was crucified more in a spiritual sense by his name, even his teaching, right? Oh, he came for everybody. They're crucifying him all over again, but spiritually. They push this name Jesus, Yeshua, Yahweh, Tua, all these other names in the earth. And they can't even say the real name because no other nation truly believe in Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Now you got some nations that's in the other countries and some in America that say, oh, I found out the real people of the Lord is the black Latinos in there. I see Edomites that's saying it. But in their video, they still say Yahuwah or Yeshua because the Lord didn't give them the name. Verse 9, and they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days. That 3 days is talking about 350 years, starting with Esau and the other nations, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. What do you do in a grave? You rest, you sleep. So they didn't give us no rest time. What is it? Limitations, the 5th chapter, in verse 5. Our necks is under persecution, we have no rest. Right? Let me get it. So nobody gonna say, oh, brother, you making that up. Let's go to Limitations. Limitations, chapter 5, verse 5. Our necks are under persecution, we labor and have no rest. This was even Jeremiah limitations about Babylon. But guess what? We're in modern day Babylon, great Babylon, mystery Babylon. We have no rest, man. Right? We're in a dead estate. I mean, not us now, those that woke up, but they don't allow our bodies to be put in a grave, basically to rest. What do Jake always do? Monday through Friday. Some people work 6 days. Some people work 7 days. Some people doing 14 hours, 19 hours a day, right? Some people, all they do nonstop is work. And you get 1 week vacation, right? And we talking about the ones that's in a lower class, even, you know, Jake that's rich, but those that has to like literally work. No. Now verse 10, I'm going to read y'all comments. Verse 10, it says, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these 2 prophets torment them that dwell on the earth. The 2 prophets is the southern and northern kingdom, starting with Judah and Ephraim. We tormented the nations back in the ancient times, especially in the time of David and Solomon, when we had them subdued, right? And even when you go to Judah, the 5th chapter, right? Holer, Fernaz, and Ankor, Lord willing I'm saying his name right, he said when there's no sin, the Lord will fight for us. But if it is sin, we're going to become weak. And this is how it became our ruin. That's why when you go to 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter, verse 56, it says, why have the nations that became reputed as nothing began to rule over us? Because we have committed a sin, right? We turned away from Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Verse 11 is the kicker. And after 3 days and a half, which is 350 years, that 350 years was fully fulfilled in 1969. The same time, what was it? The same time, I think in July. No, that's 1776. But the same time in 1969, where the Edomites said that they landed on the moon. That's in Obadiah chapter 1, verse 3 and 4. That's the same time where the teaching fully got brought out by One West in New York, 1969. But Abba Bibbins was already out doing his thing before 1969. So we could say like late 1950s, right? So verse 11, after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life, the same that was given to Adam from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet. How do we stand on our feet? Which when the men of the Lord started fulfilling Matthew 22, 7 to 9, going out to the highways and byways, Isaiah 58 and 1, crying aloud, Isaiah 13 and 2, lifting up the banner in the high mountain. Then the word sprouted from New York to this city, to this city, to that city. Now it's in all different countries, right? It says, they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. So those that are falling in fear is the elites. The lower individuals of the nation, Esau and the other nations, they're sunk in a sunken place. But the top elites that control all things, they're the ones that are in fear. Because why is everything, if you say certain things, like especially if you say the Jewish word or and so much in a way that defends them, they'll cancel your video. If you say anything about LGBT community, they'll cut your video. I searched on ChatGPT. I said, do the elites that run the whole world, do they watch the Hebrew Israelites? He said yes. That ChatGPT said most definitely, because the Hebrew Israelites is considered the most extremist thing against their system, because they're bringing out prophecies and they're exposing the lies of the image of the Son of Man and the doctrine that the Lord loves everybody. ChatGPT said this, man. Right? And this is the fear. Us standing on our feet, knowing who we is. Why you think time is going by so fast? Do you think this is the only time we've been saying the days are going to be shorter because of the elect's sake? Man, they've been saying this ever since the truth came out for 56 years, man. Even in the time of Yahushua, time been going by fast. Now we're in that last period, man. The Lord is returning, right? Oh man, everybody keeps saying that. Yeah, they're gonna keep saying that until the Lord comes. Because guess what? Before he just pop up, other prophecies have to come to play. Not the motherfucking rapture. Excuse my French, and I ain't speaking French. Ain't no such thing as a rapture in the scriptures. When the Lord comes, he's coming to get the elect, period. Those that die in his name, is some of them that's already dead now, and some of them that's going to die in the time of the MOTB, and they're going to go up to the Father. Some might die of sickness, old age, or whatever spiritual death, and they're going to go up to the Father. They're going to be the first ones that have that glorified body. When Yahushua returns, those that still enduring and living on the earth, that is the elect, they're going to get beamed up and caught up with those that died in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And after those nukes drop, it's over. It's just the elect. Yahushua is going to touch on the earth, go in the wilderness, and then we're going to set and establish the kingdom of Yahushua. Right? So we read that. So now we at this next point. But let me read the brother's comment. The brother said, I'm white and British, born with no choice, but I have been called by the Most High to serve him. Follow JC, how do I have eternal life? Now, if you saying JC, that's not his name. You say you white and British, what is your father? Because Israelites is 4 quarters of the earth. Now, if you fully know who your forefathers is, you walk, you move, your mindset is like a white man, you are not an Israelite. Because if the Most High was using you, you would not be saying JC. You would not. Literally, you would not. So I'm not gonna lie, I can't really help you on this side, because of course we on this, but I can only just say, may the force be with you. But if you saying the name Jesus, I don't know how the Most High using you. I don't know how he using you if you still using the name Jesus. The brother Yahweh, he said they tried to kill off the names of the Father and his Son, Bahashem Yahushai, so they could avoid his wrath. That's a fact. Yo, and let's look at this. When you go to 2nd Ezra 2 and 7, the Lord kind of allowed this to happen in multiple different captivities, because if we seen in Judges 2 and 10, the next generation that came up, they did not know the ways of the Lord. The Lord allowed that spirit to be on their forefathers, not to teach them, their forefathers and mothers, not to teach them the ways of the Lord or his name. Right? So even in future, Like when we look at Jeremiah 17:4, Isaiah 65:15, we're going to be called by a new name. Guess what? When we looked at Revelations 11:10 or 9, they crucified Yahweh Shai by putting on a new name, especially in the rebirth of Rome, because they wanted to hide it. And ever since they did the space station, or they said they landed on the moon, they fulfilled Obadiah chapter 1, verse 3 and 4. Guess what? Their kingdom been over. The Lord just, everything is for appointed time. Habakkuk 2 and 3. This is why we keep repeating. You have to know everything is at appointed time. Yeah, Esau has to fulfill certain things. Don't you know, even when they dropped the first bomb, they did not have enough bombs to destroy Mystery Babylon? Only America had it. When America split in the time of the Project Paperclip, Russia and America split engineers, German engineers, so that they can have the top engineers on the earth to make missiles. And now they got ICBM missiles. Russia got Satan 1, Satan 2. Next one, he about to have Satan 4, 5, 6, and 7, right? That can go from continent to continent. Russia technically is what? If by missile distance, they are 5,000 and some change kilometers away. Their missile can literally go way further than 5,000. 2nd Esdras chapter 2, verse 7. Let them be scattered abroad among the heathen. Let their names be put out of the earth, for they have despised my covenant. So the same thing what the Lord did with our names, he did with his names. Even though Esau did it, it was all the Lord on the left-hand side. The Lord said he created basically wicked for the day of evil. Right? So when Esau started making that Caesar Borgia, that was for the left-hand side. And that was to consume the wicked of our nation. Right? That's a beautiful point the brother Yahweh put. The man Clyde said, I decided to park my car so that I could listen attentively to you. Hey, call Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. I'm glad, you know. The time we living in right now is the more crucial time to hear prophecies, parables, and dark sayings and understand that the scriptures fully is for the black, Latinos, Hispanics, and natives. And I don't mean by color. Those that fit the curses, the history of the slave trade, and other things that happened to the 12 tribes of Israel. Especially when we look at the Jim Crow laws, when we look at the Dawn laws, when we look at what happened to the Puerto Ricans, which mean port of riches, right? If you fit those narratives, right? A lot of us is going through a lot of single home household where the mother has an evil eye towards the husband and the children, or the father to the wife and the children, right? Those stem all in curses. If you buying and selling from these heathens, right? If you confident, you got to start saying the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, and that can really move to your faith. The brother said, okay, brother, thank you, and may the Most High bless you for all of time. Yeah, Lord willing, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing. Reading again, I had read Numbers, and I came across the Nazarite law. An Israelite had encouraged me to read Numbers in reverence to Samson, drinking the grape from Delilah, put him to sleep. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a good read. That's a good read. Now let's get back. Let's get on the point. I'm trying to multitask in the same, right? So now, we've already read the point. The Most High ordained that his elect would be gathered through the constant preaching of the same truth, while the rest will remain blind. So now we go to John, the 10th chapter, in verse 27. Y'all, I mean, we should all know this, since we all dabble in the gospel. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. What is the true voice in this verse? The voice is the doctrine. The voice is the prophets. Because who is his mouthpiece? While Yahweh Shai is on the right-hand side of the Father. It's his prophets. When they speak about that voice. Now, if we keep reading when it says, or I think even if we go back up, it says his sheep won't hear a stranger voice. The stranger voice is another doctrine or a false doctrine, you know? So the sheep is only hearing one doctrine, one faith, right? Let me see if I can get it for you guys. Let me just read that for you real quick. Salaki family. I want to make sure I get the right one. Okay, that's a robber. Okay, here we go. This is verse 5. It says, "And a stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers." Now, yes, if the voice of the Lord is the prophets, right, through the Rakakwadash, then who is the voice of strangers? False prophets, false teachers. But this is just a false doctrine. That's the voice of strangers. Because when you go to 1 John 2 and 21, it says, "I don't tell you the truth because you don't know. I tell you because you do know. It ain't no lie of the truth." How can you know something that you haven't been taught on this side? Why would Psalms 33 and 3 say, "Sing unto me a new song"? The reason why it's a new song is because this flesh. When you get in a new flesh, 2 Esdras 14, verse 35, this is your judgment from whatever you did in your past life. So now everything is taken from you. You gotta relearn it again. But your spirit is an ancient spirit. So if you are of the elect, you was already hearing the same thing. If you are of the elect, you were here in the time of Jeremiah or Ezekiel, Hosea. You were here again. That's reincarnation, regeneration. History merely repeats itself. You're not something new that's dealing with something and you never committed sin. No, you committed sin in your past life and look where you at now. A lot of us, even me, before I came in this truth, I was committing sin. So if the Lord unalive me, bring me to the spirit world, and between 3 or 4 generations, I come back, I'm going to walk out my judgment. And guess what? I'm going to come back and try to seek the truth again. If you were seeking the truth now, and you're in this thing now, that means in your past life you were seeking it. But are you diligent? Are you sincere? Are you true? Are you honest? If you're doing those things now, you was doing that in your past. History merely repeats itself. Let's go to 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 2. It says, "And preach the word and be instant in season and out of season. Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine." Right? So what has to happen? You have to be instant in season and out of season, right? To reprove, to rebuke, to exhort, which is encourage, with long suffering and doctrine. Yo, sometimes you're going over the same thing. You're like, man, dang, man. You got to go over the same thing. Somebody asks you the same question. You're like, but somebody that's true of this faith, you love teaching regardless, even if it's the same thing. But now that we just went over this lesson, you should know repetition is good. Repetition is good, man. We're here for the elect, and the elect is want to hear it, right? Why would he say sharpen your sword? Don't you know every time you use a knife, you keep using it. Don't you got to sharpen it again? Then you use it. Don't you got to sharpen it again? Then you keep using it. Don't you got to sharpen it again? Like a pencil. You use a pencil, you use it, and then now you just got wood. You sharpen it again, now you got a pencil. You sharpen it again, now you got a pencil. You got to sharpen it again, then the pencil is gone. But with this is a sword that never ends, because this is our spiritual weapon. Ephesians, the 6th chapter, verse 17. Your spiritual sword, which is the word. You got to use it daily. And how you use it daily is going to be a lot of repetition. Right? So, the repeated teachings separates the sheep from the goats. Only the elect take heed. Now, we can go to Matthew the 25th chapter, where the Lord separates the sheep from the goats. And in that Matthew 25, the goats is really the Edomites. But if we was to look symbolic to, you know, to the wicked of our nation, the Lord is separating the wicked from the righteous, right? The sheep is the righteous, you know? So this is the last point. The wicked can't say they weren't warned. Yahweh leaves Israel without excuses by having his prophets say the same thing over and over again. So if you scroll past the video, but you watch for a second, wait, somebody posts on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever platform you're using. I'm only using Facebook and TikTok when I post either clip videos or a video that I did on my YouTube screen record. You know, it's everywhere. Celebrities speaking about this. It's nowhere that you, unless you don't got no phone, then I can understand. But you can't make no excuses on this, man. Sorry, y'all, my tablet acting mad goofy. So this is Ezekiel chapter 3. I'm going to read 17 to 19. It says, "Son of man, I have made thee a watchman," right? A watchman, he's looking over like a lighthouse. It says, "Unto the house of Israel, therefore hear the word at my mouth. Give them warning from me." Warning even goes into the word teaching. Teach. "When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning." How can you give somebody warning? You got to teach them. "Nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way. To save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood shall I require at thy hand." So if the teachers, the prophets of this thing don't warn the people, don't teach the people, it's like a teacher. If a teacher not teaching the students, they most likely gonna fail. But if they're teaching you, they're warning you, hey, yo, this and that, blah, 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 about this is what we learn, and then the exam come. The exam is gonna be on everything you learn through the whole half semester. You should have been paying attention because I was warning you. We were going over this, we was going over that. Verse 19, "Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul." Right? So those that don't listen, they're going to be consumed and destroyed. But those that do listen, yes, the Lord is going to forgive them, right? Pardon their ways. Truly when Yahweh Shai come. But until the Yahweh Shai come, we're going to always repent. Repent is to be sorry. Every day, being in this flesh, right? The energy you put towards Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, right? How you move as a man, how you move as a woman in this thing, right? You got to have a repentant heart, right? The brother Yahweh Na, Salakia, the brother Yahweh Na, he put 2 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 4. "The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. On the contrary, they have divine power to demolish strongholds." Yeah, that got to be the NLT. That one hit. And that's what we're here to do. How can you break down strongholds if you're not teaching? And if you a student and you getting ready to teach, how can you pull down strongholds if you're not learning? Hearing the word and then studying the scriptures, searching the scriptures daily from what a person brought out to say, yo, this is so. This is it. The biggest stronghold is the name of Yahweh Hashem Al Shai. Another stronghold is who's salvation for? Who is the Bible for? Right? You have to look at this Bible as a special Bible. And if it's special, only a special people can have that Bible. It's like, I'm not trying to compare it to Hocus Pocus, but I'm just using that one moment when the dude, the idiot, when he opened up that book and then the light came up in the air through the spirit. When that book is in our hand, it's a light. To the other nations, it's like watching the movie, the Book of Eli. When they touching his braille, they can't understand it. Some things they're gonna get, but they can't really understand it to it in its completeness, right? Clyde, he said, question, Jew nor Greek from Acts. I told somebody this refers to displaced Israelites who were living in Greece. Paul visited Galatia and other places to speak Hebrew. The Apocrypha assisted me. Yes, that is speaking about the dispersed and scattered Israelites. Because if you say Greeks, and if we just do this, this is education, family. So pause a second. We got one more verse to read, just for edification. Let's just go and let me just show you the Greek captivity. Or let's look at Rome captivity. Greek captivity was smaller than the Rome captivity. So as soon as I show you this, it should make sense. So Rome captivity, come on, where's that? Oh, see, now they want to get crafty. Okay. See, now it's not going to give me the picture. Okay, this is kind of all right. So if we was to look at this picture right here, this is the Rome captivity. Everything red is what they ruled. Anything that's not red, and even though the map is way smaller, they did not rule, right? So any land that is red is what the Romans ruled. So if you look at this and we go to the Greek captivity, it's smaller than this. And the Greeks did not rule all the way down here. They didn't rule all the way down here. They didn't rule all the way down here. They didn't rule. Every nation that became an empire overpowered each nation each empire that was over them. They took their land and got a little more, right? So when it say neither Jew or Greek, what about those that's all the way in Japhet land, right? That didn't get conquered by them, or all the way deep down in Africa, right? Or those that's deep down in Ethiopia, people that's down in all these lands. Make it make sense. All nations did not cleave to these ways, but guess what? It was popular. That language, the customs that went around, just like America, things that's over here, everybody speak about, right? But when it talks about neither Jew nor Greek, why does it only specifically bring up Jews and Greeks? Or Jews and Gentiles? Gentiles mean nation, but if you understand, James said, greetings to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. If Paul was saying Gentiles in all these other verses, he should have been more distinct and said to the 12 tribes scattered abroad and all the other nations. No, because, and this is another thing I did a lesson on, it's on my channel. And I was trying to act like a dummy. I even asked ChatGPT and Google, why in the New Testament, none of the apostles or teachers was telling those that was believers, you are Israelites? Because they didn't have, like ChatGPT said, they didn't have to tell them because they knew, right? Just like us now, right? Only thing with us now, we got totally whitewashed, but it was nobody here that knew that they was Israelites until the Lord put that spirit. But when you go into the Greek captivity and the Roman captivity, everybody wasn't Hellenized. Everybody didn't go into the Roman captivity and I'm a Greek, but it was a lot of people, right? So naturally it went by what? The spirit. Let's get Romans, the 8th chapter, verse 16. It was a different spirit back then, right? Romans chapter 8, verse 16. And that's the spirit we got now. Because some of us can't master what tribe you in. But then you look on your ID like, man, I'm African-American. Oh, yeah, I'm Judah. And then the Lord come and then you find out you really a Gadite. But it's because we've been mixed around so damn much. Hey, it's okay to say you Ephraim. In the end, you might find out you really a Cuban, you know? But at the end, the number one thing is that you believe you are Israelite. That's the number one thing. right? Because it doesn't matter what tribe, because we're gonna fully know at the end, right? Some people truly know what tribe they from, but do you believe you a Hebrew Israelite, right? Because you could say you a tribe and your actions don't fit it. If you really believe you an Israelite, Romans 2:29, a Jew is one inwardly, right? We're an Israelite inwardly. So if you ain't being an Israelite inwardly, you ain't really all Israel ain't Israel, right? We move different. This is Romans 8:16. It says the Spirit itself bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. In the NLT, for his spirit joins with our spirits to affirm that we are the Most High's children, right? The spirit that's within you is gonna bear witness that you are. This is how when brothers get into history, brothers be going into like what happened to the Northern Kingdom or the Southern Kingdom, like, wait, hold on. Oh, snap, man, that makes sense. Then you start lining certain spiritual things when your mom used to beat you and said, I'm going to beat you like a Hebrew slave. You be like, wait, what? Now you start to remember. Or people be like, oh, you got them Hebrew feet. Remember all them jokes we used to have and we didn't even know who the hell we was? That's the same. Now that's going to click to you. I was raised hearing, swing low, sweet chariot, coming from the, even though I was in foster care at multiple homes, in different foster homes, people were saying sweet low, sweet chariot. That stemmed back into your history, right? In the time of when we fled through Egypt, the time of Joshua, chariots was guided, chariots was there. Even the Northern Kingdom when they came here, you know, the Spirit bear witness. And that's just like when somebody come up and they want to hear the word and then they learn and they're like, oh, that's the Spirit. Now they're like, yo, man, I get with that. The Spirit would draw people. Go read Acts, the 8th chapter, verse 26 down. The angel, then after the angel had Philip go to Gaza, the Spirit of the Lord told him to go to the eunuch. And then he said, hey, do you know what you read? He said, no, unless somebody guide me. The Spirit is the one that moves us. That's why you got to truly believe in Yahushua, right? When you start to learn, believe in that name, and Yahushua through the Spirit is going to guide you to get more understanding, right? And you still going in this truth, still walking that thin line, enduring to the end, that's a true Israelite indeed. Like he told Nathaniel, a genuine Israelite indeed, right? An Israelite is not just only a person outwardly, it's someone inwardly. First by the Spirit, because the elect was ordained before they got on the earth. Just like Jeremiah. Jeremiah was set to be an Israelite. The Lord said he knew him before he was in the womb. So the Lord chose him to be an Israelite. His spirit was already connected to him to be an Israelite. Like it's saying in Corinthians, the spirit of the prophet is subject to the prophet. Come on. Psalms 104 verse 4. Why is what is it? See, now that brother with that question just got me excited. Psalms 104 verse 4, it says, who maketh his angels spirits and his ministers a flame of fire, right? But if you was to look at it a double whammy, you have a spirit in you. And an angel means a messenger or a representative. All the men of the Lord are representatives. Through the Spirit, they're angels too, right? And it says his ministers a flame of fire. Jeremiah 20:9. I'm not going to speak in his name no more. Then a fire came on him. Jeremiah spoke about a fire being closed up in a vent, and then it burst out. When you do a lesson and you hurry up, you're not saying you hurrying up doing it, but you doing a lesson after a lesson, or you just got up and did a lesson. You just got done working, standing on your feet all night, and then now you out probably doing camp. Or you tired as hell, but the Lord gave you some energy. Now you're doing like 2 sit-downs. What the heck you think that is? That's not you. That is the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Come on, man. So let me get this, and then I'm gonna get back to what y'all said. This is St. John 15:22. If I had not come and spoken unto you, Salaki, St. John 15:22. If I had not come and spoken unto you, they had not had sin. But now they have no cloak for their sin. In the NLT, they would not be guilty if I had not come and spoken to them. But now they have no excuse for their sin. This is in red letters, right? So this repetition ensures no Israelite can claim ignorance. When Yahushua actually came up, like as soon as he touched down, then he's saying, yo, the Pharisee saying law, 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 and he started quoting certain things. He said, man, he said, how can you believe what Moses say and you don't believe my words? Guess what? Now you're shown that you're a sinner because you don't even believe what Moses said. That's another sin when you don't believe what Moses wrote, man. When he wrote about Yahushua or the prophets. When people say in Isaiah 53 not about Yahushua, Jeremiah 23 verse 5 to 7, they say that's not Yahushua, that's a sin, right? So the church hymns that sing, it won't be water but fire next time. It's going to rain. Songs about the second death. That's spiritual. Come on, man. Right? Revelations, the 20th chapter. Everybody in here should be desiring to be part of the second resurrection or the first resurrection, right? Under Yahushua, right? Yahushua is the starter because he's the first to get that inheritance. He's the heir of Yahweh. So he's the first one to get it. Now the elect is going to get it, right? So Clyde said a few years ago, I dialogued with bike riders and Mormons. I said, have ever noticed you can comfortably ride bikes in a predominantly black neighborhood? You have a great, yeah, right. He said you have a great spirit, apart because of your spirit. Furthermore, you're the first teacher I met to read your followers' messages. Hence, you deal in conclusions. Yeah, I'm not the best, man. I'm not the best. I'm just a Dargabar trying to feed the sheep because I know there's a lot of people hungry out here. They're more hungry than precious. Okay, but I try to do the best. I love talking. So if I'm bringing out something and then my eyes just catch somebody saying something, I'm going to read. Now, if you come with some contention, some shabba dabba ding dong, you come scoffing, I'm going to slide you to the left like Beyonce, right? I'm going to remove you or I'm going to block you from the channel because this channel is about edification. If you don't want to get edified, you want to make a joke, go start a YouTube channel and then make a joke about me. But on here, we have people that want to learn. And if they don't want to learn, eventually they're going to reveal themselves, right? And there's many people that come on this live that say shabba dabba ding dong and I remove them, right? We're trying to edify. And if those that cleave to this truth and they have certain spirits, we be like, you know what? Maybe you can be an Israelite, man. But you got to continue to press towards the mark because just hearing my video ain't going to get it done. Right now, the number one thing everybody need to keep their eyes open for is the MOTB, man. Right? I don't think I got it on this phone, but the UK just pushed out their digital IDs. Now, that's in my other phone. So if y'all watching my other channel, I'm going to drop another video and Lord willing, I can show this news article. But other than that, that's it for me. I'm going to face the east and give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit, and a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect in the same Spirit that's teaching sound doctrine, 100% truth as a whole through the Spirit. And shalom to the Aquad, believers of this faith and this truth. Lord willing that y'all continue to pursue your lot, being a loving and silent and virtuous wife, and that you continue to cleave to sound doctrine. And with that, Lord willing, Yahweh Shema Shai have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. With that, shalom, shalom, abba, abba. Yes, GMS.